Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. This is the Eachine Aurora 90. It has 1104 7500 kV motors, 4-in-1 10-amp ESC, F3 flight controller with an OSD. Mine has a DSM receiver. It has a micro buzzer, programmable LED strip, 600 TV line, all-in-one camera and VTX with a circular polarized antenna. It weighs 74.3 grams. It's 90 millimeters, motor post to motor post. It comes with a B3 charger, comes with a screwdriver and Allen key, a 450 Mod 2S battery. Comes with extra props. I broke some. Extra motor screws or various screws. Another little screw kit. 2 extra pieces for your camera mount. And some Velcro. Also in the kit, color instructions. Okay, the long and the short of this, I think these 1104 motors produce enough thrust to make it flying in the house, like my house, a little bit more of a challenge, because with a larger motor you have more weight, and in this particular case we have more weight because we have all these metal pieces, and we have extra carbon fiber, we have carbon fiber hoops, we got metal screws. We just got all these little bits of metal that add up to a little bit more weight. And the motors can handle that fine, but that means when you start to get the nose down and flying, you're covering more ground than say you would with something that's 45 grams and running 1103 motors. But with that, it's still manageable. I think it's better suited for maybe your flying club has access to a gym or to a warehouse, something that's still inside, but is maybe a little larger spaced. Maybe you work at a warehouse and you can get some time to fly there. I probably won't fly this in my house much more, but it does fly pretty well outside, and it doesn't have too much of a problem with that rear end dropping that we've seen in a couple of others when really pushing things outside where you get a quick drop. But it does still happen in the right circumstances, so you may find that you enjoy this more if you just take off the prop guards and fly it without. But if you take off the prop guards, plan to secure this camera in a different way, because the camera pod connects into the props, the prop protectors, in order to keep itself secure. And in a hard enough crash, this will come loose. The whole thing will come loose. I also think one of the faults that it has is, one, these props tend to snap, I think, pretty easy. It's hard to tell if they snap real easy or if the tolerance inside these hoops is just not, it's too tight. It doesn't take much flex or bend in order to cause a prop to snag on something and then the prop snaps off. I mean, right now, if you look, let me see if I can line it up. See, we got a little tiny bit of daylight right back there, and it's not much. But then if we look over here, we've got quite a bit more daylight. So I don't know if these are, and I've kind of bent things back into shape every once in a while when I do crash, and then I got, you kind of have to spin your props around to make sure everything's got clearance. But it does fly well. As far as a vehicle goes, you won't be unhappy with the product. I just think at this weight, it's a little ill-suited for flying inside your home. It does have a number of features that are very compelling. The beeper, the OSD, having a receiver built in. You can pick your own receiver. We've got a camera pod here that gives us ability to tilt, so we can get more tilt. You'll note that I had some difficulties with my camera staying in, so I just wrapped up, took one of the rubber bands that came in the kit, and I went around it, and then underneath and over the top, and then underneath the camera, and that really holds things in there pretty well and gives it some flex too. So if I do have a bad crash, the rubber band will help absorb, because I found that the sticky pads that they gave in the kit, mine didn't work great, didn't keep the camera in place very well. With all that said, it still has some flaws. We're always looking for the perfect thing on the perfect budget. I do recommend that you check out the AXC Halo, which is the original manufacturer of this frame. This is basically a copy design. I think if you have these components and you get upset with how things perform here, if you swap over to that other frame, the original frame, you'll be much happier. If you want to get longer flight times, the flight you already saw was roughly about 3 minutes. Get 2 blades or even 3 blades will probably give you longer flight time, and some different props altogether. Even if they're still 4-bladed props, you still might get more flight time from different props. We have some new ones coming out from Racer Star that was listed on the Banggood site here recently, but I have yet to try those myself. I can't vouch for them. The Furious props get lots of negative feedback on various Facebook groups. But I don't have a problem with them myself, but I'm not putting them on, a test to try to figure out what their thrust and efficiency ratings are. I just kind of put props on and see how they fly, or see if they introduce vibrations when I'm trying to do my PID tuning. As you can see here, this little wire here tends to sneak out every now and again, so be careful with that little guy. We don't want him getting in our props. Then you have a catastrophic crash or something like that. Final tip I'll give you, get yourself a decent battery strap. The one it comes with, it comes loose, your battery comes dislodged no matter what you do. There's not much to it. Even with the little bit of Duralock that I put on this, the battery would come loose in the modest of crashes. Sometimes even on a landing it would become dislodged. So get yourself a decent battery strap. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those down in the section down below. And thank you for watching.
you.